Hey, what's going on? I felt the need to make this video in response to Justin Bailey and what he was talking about on his afternoon show earlier today while I was at work. And also to what he wrote on, to the blog he wrote about the Earl sandwich that I came up with a few years back. Now, as you know, a couple buddies, someone from the YouTube community, which I'm a part of, friended me on Facebook, went to my mobile upload section and found this big sandwich that I came up with basically out of boredom. Just to fuck around there, because it was slow at that time. There was no, the place was empty, the dining hall that is. So we came up with some stupid shit to do. Now a couple of times they may, the other chefs and cooks and sometimes the dishwasher would participate. They would get a couple of golf clubs and try to put some golf balls into some plastic cup, you know. The putt-putt golf, I guess you could say it was called. We often did that a couple of times. It was slow earlier today, and someone brought in this little scooter, and a couple tried their best to ride it inside. I didn't, because, you know, knowing my height, I would probably look pretty idiotic trying to ride a small scooter when I'm 6'4". Sometimes we do some, we talk about stupid shit. Well, basically in my case, I figure I'd come up with something a little bit oddish, you know. This was basically was inspired by those big ass meals you see on Facebook, on YouTube, and all these other programs, like for example, Man versus Food. I understand it's back on the Travel Channel now. Somebody else is hosting the show now, whose name escapes me at this moment. I only watched it a couple of times with my girlfriend at the time, and one time they was in this city in Detroit, you know, going to all these places like the Lafayette Coney Island, this other Coney Island, this restaurant here. And one of the challenges they had this guy do was eat this humongous, massive ass burger. Now, anybody who could eat that massive burger all at once deserves absolute fucking credit. But this guy, the host, was not able to. So they had to bring in some help in to do that. Bunch of other people, a couple of executives, a KISS tribute band called War Machine. Lots of people were called in to help devour this burger. And when you see this burger, you know what I'm talking about. Now, also added massive photos of huge ass pizzas I've seen before, or a big bowl of fries the size of a car radiator. I've seen lots of that, you know. So I figure I'd come up with something a little bit more different. It was basically just out of boredom. It was basically mustard, ketchup, barbecue sauce with bacon, ham, burgers, fries, you know. It was about stacked this much here. I took a photo of it, posted it on Facebook. A couple of people were like questioned if I was going to eat all that. That does look very unhealthy, you know, what someone else said on it. You know, I agreed it was a very unhealthy thing to eat, you know. I did have some of it, I admit, even though I responded, "For the record, I never ate that burger, you know." Well, I take that back. I cannot remove it now because it will make me more like a fucking idiot. You know, so I was called on that. My bad for that. Basically, I had a little bit, you know, and I took some of it home and put it out somewhere for some stray cats to munch on. We have a couple of stray cats that hang around the area. We often hear them meowing, fighting, screeching out in the middle of the night while we're trying to scream. You know, we hear in the background, God knows what the hell they're doing. We see them a few times, you know, lying in driveways, lying on top of cars. One of them lying on one of our cars. Now, JB wrote about this sandwich. You know, he posted it along with the pictures of me cosplaying the Fourth Doctor, holding my nephew's sonic screwdriver. And he wrote about it, saying how gross it looked. You know, that sandwich should get me in, put me in jail or something like that. You know. Well, this is not the first time I've come up with something odd or insane when it comes to food. When I was living in Richmond, Michigan, when I was struggling, I didn't have that much food in my fridge. A couple times I would buy lots of ramen noodles, beef and chicken, but I would mix in at times, you know, beef snacks, beef sticks chopped up, pepperoni slices, mix in the flavor mix along with some black pepper, add a little bit of open pit barbecue sauce onto it. There you go. A couple times I would often add, you know, mini ravioli to the whole thing as well. Yeah, I did that a few times. Sometimes I still do. And my idea of chicken noodle would be, you know, chicken noodle with ramen noodles, you know, the same kind, beef and cheddar. That's the only kind I enjoy. Oh, we got to include roast beef as well. The same contents, of course, with no barbecue sauce, of course. But I would also add Cajun seasoning at times. A couple of times at my work, I often took some pepperoni slices that we have up here. Well, basically my old work. We would take pepperoni slices and put them on the cooked burger that was on the grill, put some melted cheese on it, and there we go. Mix in with some chopped up bacon, put it on the cheese before the cheese would harden. At breakfast at times, I would often mix Rice Krispies with Cocoa Krispies. I would mix, sometimes I would often mix Rice Krispies with Fruit Loops and Apple Jacks a couple times. And for my egg sandwiches, there were times I would often either a slice of hard salami or regular salami, or pepperoni slices onto the egg with some cheese on it as well. Now, some of you may be asking, well, Earl, how are you able to eat all that and maintain all that weight? Well, let me explain once again to everybody else. I inherited my father's frame. My dad was basically kind of skinny throughout the years that I've known him, you know. I basically inherited his frame, including his facial features. As I mentioned a few times, even including pro-violence, that I do look like him. I posted a tribute to him for Father's Day on my Facebook. And a lot of people did comment saying, you look just like him, you know. I do. As I mentioned in my last video, I'm also part Cherokee as well, like my ma is, hence the cheekbones. So that adds along with it. Now, you may ask, well, why are you doing this to your food? Why do you do that? You know, because, excuse me, because after a while, the same old kind of gets boring. Like, you have a bologna sandwich with mustard in it. It's kind of, you know, after a while, it gets kind of boring. You want to up the ante a little bit, whether it's adding some cheese or pepperoni slices. Again, I'm a big pepperoni fan, you know, to make something a little different, you know. Now you may ask yourself, you know, what if you get diabetes? Well, I'm already have diabetes. I've been a diabetic since I was 12 years old. And that was my fault. I was the one who went overboard with the Mickey D's back in the day. So for anybody asking me, well, you could take McDonald's for court for making you a diabetic. No, it was my fault. You know. And also, let me also keep in mind that I'm also a very active person. I've always been. I would go out dance at clubs till wee hours of the morning. I would take lots of walks. I would ride bikes a lot of times. For the past 6 years in Michigan, all I did was ride a bike, to whether it's to work, to a club, or to this venue, or this area of town, or that area of town. I'd always try to keep myself active. So that helps maintain my weight as well. In fact, I would like the guys who watch this video to Google, do this. Go to a map displaying these three areas. I mentioned this before. Richmond, Michigan, St. Clair, Michigan, my bad, and Marine City, all in Michigan. I rode a bike from Richmond to St. Clair to Marine City, back to Richmond. Yeah, it took a lot of hours to do so, but you know what? I'm a persistent individual. And plus, Richmond was a very fucking boring area to hang around in. I wanted to experiment and find out what the hell is out there. And plus, I used to go to Marine City all the time. I missed going there when I was living there. Me and my beloved Nancy would hang there almost all the time, you know. I do kind of miss it. It's a very quiet area. I also miss St. Clair, Michigan as well, you know. But back to the story. Now, it's people saying, now as far as JB saying I look like a meth head, well, rest assured, if I was given a drug test to do, rest assured, guaranteed I would pass it. I passed every drug test that was given to me. Whether it's from Kroger's, the temp service I was involved in, every one of them I've always passed. Give me one right now, and I'll pass it. That'll be a helicopter or airplane there. Sorry about that. And as far as my voice being the way it is, that's how it is. That's how I laugh at times. I know Luke Rojas mentioned I have this dark satanic laugh. That sadly cannot be helped. Now, I don't want to knock JB. I love the dude. He's a great person to hang with and talk to at time when I call in on shows like Monetize This. I was hoping he'd stick around more last Thursday when I was on Mars Mira's Minnesota Vikings fans when that simulcast took place last Thursday. Dave Rose, Foulmouth Ken. You know, sometime basically if Tommy decides to leave JB's Cafe, maybe I can be considered to be the replacement for it at a couple times. Talk about food. We could talk about our likes, dislikes, and all that. You know. Now, some of you, let me also conclude by saying this. Some people may ask, well, why don't you go vegan? Why don't you eat more vegetables? Why don't you eat... I was never a veggie type of guy. I can never be a vegan. I can never be a vegan because, you know, my girlfriend described me best. When we were together, she often referred to me at times as a carnivore, which was a big lover, appreciator of meat. You know, burgers, hot dogs, you know, sausage links, sausage patties, bacon, you know, roast beef, ham, you know, meatloaf. I had some of that. That's pretty good. My sister makes awesome meatloaf, by the way. Turkey, chicken. I miss having a KFC, that's for sure. I gotta check if we have a KFC in our area. I know we have a Popeyes, but I saw this one clip set that was not too cool. What was inside one of the Popeyes chickens that was supposed to have been cooked. So, some of the food items that I mentioned kind of gross you out, sorry folks, but then again, some other people have a lot more oddball preferences, you know. Let's not forget the king of rock and roll loved peanut butter and banana sandwiches. That's all I'm going to say, you know. I'll be calling in, by the way, I'll be calling in on Monetize This this coming Friday when I get home from work. It's been a while since I've been on that show. I'll probably hang out with those guys. I'm Dr. Earl. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Leave some comments below. Hit that like button as well. You guys have a good one.